Hello and welcome to PMC English. This is Ayushi Farasi and welcome to yet another episode of Social Heroes. So what was in your mind when you started this organization? What was your thought process behind starting this organization?
Suvidha Rescue Team is a youth-driven organization. We work against child exploitation, so we make sure they had safe and secure childhood, and we focus on education in rural and urban slums.
So our idea was never to start an organization, but our idea is to work with children. So this is how we have, met children, and that is how we have understood what exploitation is, how is it happening, and why is it happening.
Hello and welcome to PMC English. This is Ayushi Farasi and welcome to yet another episode of Social Heroes. In this episode of Social Heroes, we have Kruti and Jay who are on a mission to give children their lost childhood through their NGO Suvidha Rescue Team. They are preserving today's childhood to build an abuse-free nation for tomorrow. So without any further delay, let's welcome Kruti and Jay from Suvidha Rescue Team in this episode of Social Heroes. Welcome to PMC English.
Hi Ayushi, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm Kruti. I'm working for a corporate company.
I'm Jay, architect, working as an assistant professor in an architecture college.
Wonderful to have you both here in our studio today. So starting with what made you start Suvidha Rescue Team? What was in your mind when you started this organization?
Suvidha Rescue Team is a youth-driven organization. We work against child exploitation, and so we make sure they had safe and secure childhood, and we focus on education in rural and urban slums.
Okay. So what was in your mind when you started this organization? What was your thought process behind starting this organization?
So our idea was never to start an organization, but our idea is to work with children. So all our team members are all working professionals. They are architects. We have a doctor, and I myself was a software engineer when I have started, this organization. So we have invested our weekends and our holidays and free times, and we used to go to the slums, rural and urban slums, temples, railway stations, at the platforms. We used to simply interact with children. We used to understand their stories, listen to them, just give an ear to them. So this is how we have, met children, and that is how we have understood what exploitation is, how is it happening, and why is it happening. So that's how, we have realized that we have to, start an organization, form a team, and then start this work. So initially we had no idea what an NGO is. We didn't even know the full form of an NGO at that time. So we understood a lot of things. We met people from different organizations who are who are also working for the children. So in Hyderabad and also out of Hyderabad, we have also traveled to other states where we met people and we understood their work. It took a lot of time for us to understand what exactly it is. We had only one thought: to safeguard children, to protect children against exploitation. We just had this idea, and this idea drove us, and that's how we have started this NGO.
Like, you have done a lot of research before starting this organization. So was it like a trigger point in your life wherein you saw an incident and that what triggered you to start this organization, or was it just like a passion that yes, I want to do something for the children?
See, we felt that it is a responsibility to do something for children, because during my college days, that's where when I have realized what child sexual exploitation was. When I first heard that children, 7 to 8 year children are thrown into brothel houses, they are into prostitution, they are they are suffering, it's their time and age to go to school, play with toys, go out with friends. Instead they are staying in brothel houses. I have become numb after realizing this fact, and that's where it started to prick me. What am I doing? I'm responsible for this, I have to do something in this regard. So that's where this idea began. That's how we met and we have discussed how to do it, and so we have decided this is not their childhood, we have to give back their childhood. So this is how it started.
Like, if you are asking about triggering points and all, we travel across India, connecting with various NGOs, where it is very important to know how they work, because we are very new, like we have no idea how it works, and because it is very different. It's not just we want to go and help. So there are so many triggering points, when we started exploring so many cases in other NGOs, especially in Mumbai. So we came to know that most of the prostitution that happens, people are from Andhra and Telangana. So like we felt we had to do something regarding this. So like that is how, like there are so many triggering points, and we feel it, as Kruti was saying, it is our responsibility. So if you are leaving a child, to get letting people exploit him, he might end up as a thief, he might come to our home, like, so that is how we feel about taking it as a responsibility.
Yeah. So how far the journey of Suvidha Rescue Team have been? Like 6 years almost that you have been working in this sector. So how is the journey, like when you see 6 years back and when you see Suvidha Rescue Team right now in 2022? So how is the journey so far?
Initially, it was like we just used to go to slums. We used to talk to kids more. So what we observed, like we started few projects. It's not just about going and giving something or distributing or helping them. What we observed, like it's more about hearing, like talking to them, or spending some time. They don't have people whom they can trust, whom they can share. So that is initially our whole idea, is to just go and know what's happening. So then slowly we found out, there is something that we have to do. So like as we were telling, that we connected with other NGOs, other government organizations, so where they started helping us in this, kids and all.
So we have started a few projects. One is like Project Astha. So Project Astha is something like integrating art, self-defense, and singing, dancing, and theater in government schools, slums, and children childcare homes and all. So we used to take this project and we used to go meet children, understand their how they are feeling there, how, what is their psychological status and all. We used to spend a lot of time. We have not given any charity, we didn't give them anything, but we have spent time, and that is what actually children are in need of, at this point of time, because they wanted people to come to them, play with them, spend some time with them. So Project Astha is to introduce them to art, fun activities. And the other thing is Project Wings. So Wings is something to sensitize youngsters in colleges. So we used to go to different colleges, degree colleges, architecture college and BTech college. We used to give a session on child sexual abuse, how it is happening, and what is a youngster's responsibility, towards society. So we had taken this sensitizing sessions to the youngsters, and that's how even those youngsters used to call us up whenever they see a child begging on the street. They used to call us up. They say, akka, there is this child, he or she is begging, or she's not going to school, he's just wasting time, begging in the streets. So this is how people started to respond to us. This is what we have expected, and some of our projects have also brought a good success. And
So like there is other project called Ved. So we had a friend who is very young, is at 65. She once, she called me and asked me whether we can do something at a village that she know. So it's a very remote village near Elur, and it's very hard for us initially to get into that village because there is no proper transport. So we went there, we started going around the village, we started talking to children. Our initial observations were, the kids over there, there is a high percentage of dropout. So especially like there is not a single girl who completed 10th. So that is what we came to know. So what we thought is like, we spoke with the kid, like this one kid, he want to study, he want to go to school, but one thing that's stopping him is his teacher. She hates him. They doesn't teach anything. If there is something called learning that happen at school, children are very likely to go regularly, and even they are not bothered about the free stuff. So even when Kruti was talking about we don't do charity and all, there are times when we are at the home, people come with chocolates and biscuit. They were like, no, again, like we had to go and take. They are not. It is not okay to always be on the other side accepting something. So that is what we observed, and similarly in this case, this gave rise to our project with village education health development. So the problems we identified are hygiene. Hygiene is the main issue, and menstrual health. We conducted awareness campaigns for them, and we developed a project called After School. After School. So because we cannot intervene in a government school and do to our wish, so what we did is like we want to work after the school. So we made an ABC, activity based curriculum. Like we integrate art, we teach them art, we teach them music, we teach every subject through art. We at least, or we try nature based learning, because staying in a remote village, they had their own techniques, or they observe so many things that happen. So slowly, with the help of so many people, we raised some fund, and we started going there. We used to initially stay in tents there under the sky, because we don't have proper accommodation. There was this old house, so we renovated by ourselves as an architect. We started using our education. So that is where I felt, I was wondered, how can I use my education helping people, not just earning money. And we even had plans to construct learning centers where people can come. It can act as a library or a home where they can spend their time. So in this project, the children started coming to, even in COVID, we did some online sessions. There are few people who voluntarily help us from that place. So rest of the time we travel there, we stay in tents, and we painted, and we ask the kids to be a part of it, because once the kids are part, so it is it is their initiative. So that is how we started project with. So education is one other prime aspect we want to focus on. So rescuing is ensuring their safety, and then education. We feel to eradicate poverty, education is the only thing that helps them. This project gave us so much of insight about untouchability. So it's shocking, when we talk to people, when we talk in a sensitizing programs and all, when we talk about untouchability here, like in Hyderabad, people are not aware, but it had different forms, it still exists. So it made us think in different perspectives. So we started focusing on education sector more. We feel it is the most neglected area that nobody cares, because it's been running race for them. So in project where we focus morely on livelihood, so where they can grow their food, so they can use their knowledge to live. So be it building their own house, or be it repairing something at home. So that is what we feel is needed for them. Like initially when we are working in the beginning, so we are working professionals. Like I used to work for an MNC there. I used to be as a designer. There, like we had a slum nearby our office. We started visiting there. So initially it was not easy for us because we want to do something. So we went on the field. So we have no idea what to do, and we just went and spoke with children. So that is what we even suggest everyone: just go and talk. Let's take care of the rest later. And there is this little girl in a slum. Like her mom is very young, so younger than me at that time. Like she has to go somewhere to work. Like she was forced to live at home. Like this kid will be staying alone at the home. In a slum, like even it is in the initial days, we like I feel we are very privileged kids. So she is left at home. Like she plays on the road, and there is some sense of danger when you leave a kid at home. And she was bullied by all the other kids, saying she's retarded. But when we spoke to her, she's very bright. So we counseled her mother because she is not in a stage to raise a kid. Like she is very young. So we counseled her and we joined in a home. Like in the first visit, when we like our main work starts when we join the kid somewhere. Not we don't want just put people from here to there. We don't want to shift. We don't want that to happen. So in our initial visit, where we want to make sure she is getting along with the children, or we want to make sure that she is not a neglected kid. So we are there for her. That is what our main area after rescuing the kid. Here, when we first went there, her teachers were telling that she was the class mentor. So what we believed is true, because she is not retarded. Like people started calling her, and now she is a class leader, and she sings very well. She is very active. She don't want to go home. Like we made sure that her mother is visiting her weekly or twice a week, so that there is some kind of connection between them. So and there is one more story. So like on a drug addict guy, he is very young, 12, 13 years old. So single father, like he started ill-treating this guy. He ran away from home. He is very happy begging. He earns more. He was like, I want to buy this, I want to buy this. Like with what? Like he want to buy with that money that he begs at that signal. So like we started talking to him more. So this lady is from one of the project. Like there is this girl calling her. Like I saw a guy that I think he needs help. So slowly we started talking. What we observed is like he's a drug addict. So drug is not the fancy things, but he take whitener. They put whitener in the kerchief, they start inhaling it. It gives them toxication.
And that too at that tender age.
Yeah, tender age. But slowly, like we started observing how they like work pattern and all. So we started talking to them, just talking to them. We want to be friends. We want to understand what happened. And we sometimes we go and eat, sometimes we talk. We see them begging, like begging. People do it, these people are very good at acting. When we see slowly, like 1 or 2 months on and off, we go, we hang out with them. There are other kids too, but especially this kid is like he's very much addicted. So when in one instant, when we are asking him to read something, his English is very good. So, but only because of he don't have a proper environment to study, he got into all this. So after 2 months, one day when we are hanging out, People stare at us anyhow when we do all this. So when we are hanging out, what he came to us that he told us that I want to study. I want to stop all this.
This didn't happen suddenly. You know, it took almost like 45 days, more than 1 month of time. You know, we kept meeting him, you know, simply like as I told you, Saturdays and Sundays. So we kept meeting him, and we never used to, you know, teach him something, you know, no, we didn't. We just spent time with him, a lot of time. Pani puri, eat pani puri with him, you know, I eat ice cream with him, just spend some time, because he was vexed up listening to the moral stories. He didn't want it. He was not in a stage to understand all this. He's a teenager. You know, all that he requires is a friend, you know, to share his story and listen to. And that's how, you know, it took almost like 45 days to 2 months of time. You know, after suddenly, like, we generally we went another Saturday and to meet him. So he was like, I want to stop this. I want to stop, you know, inhaling this whitener. I want to come out of this. I want to, you know, study. I want to educate well and be in a good situation. Take me away from here right now. He said this. He actually said this. We were like, we were blank. We didn't expect that from him. Okay, we just asked, like, you know, wait for today. Tomorrow will come. Obviously, there are some formalities. We just can't take these children like that. So there is a authority, government authority, where we present him there. So we asked him to, you know, wait for one more day. So we were like in tension, like, you know, what, like, is he going to be there? Or is he, you know, or he'll go back to begging. So we were in this dilemma, and we went there, and he was standing there with a bag of clothes and all, whatever he had. Even he put his inhaler, that whitener in his bag. Fine, then chalo, and we took him on our bike, and we went and we did all the formalities, and we got them joined in a good home. He's very happy now. He's studying. I think he's in 10th standard now. He's studying really well, and he's healthy. You know, he was very lean. You know, he was, you know, he never used to take proper food, and nothing he had, just the whiteness. He was living on whiteness, and now he's very much happy and healthy. You know, we saw his cheeks, you know, coming out. So that's the one sign we observe in children. So yeah, that is one good experience that we got, and this lead we got from a college student after sensitizing them about this awareness. So they have responded this to our session, and they have given this lead.
So how does it feel like, you know, when you transform children from a very abusive lifestyle to a, you know, blissful lifestyle? When you see such transformation in the children's, how does it make you feel like?
That is what their, you know, their place is. You know, it's like, it's not that we never felt like this is a service we are doing. This is our responsibility, and that is, you know, their right place to stay. You know, if a child is going to school, yes, it is his or her right, you know, if they are being educated. So we are just, you know, linking, you know, them back to their childhood, which they have missed in their journey due to various reasons and incidents. So obviously this gives us immense pleasure when we see, you know, as he was telling, when people were calling a little girl a mentally ill child, which she wasn't. And when we again go and visit her, we have seen a badge she was wearing. It was written like class monitor. We were like so happy, you know, looking, you know, that girl, and, you know, being a class leader, you know, that obviously gives immense pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah, like we feel happy doing that, rather than we don't see it as a service. Like we had a very good childhood, like we want them to have the same. So that is how we see it, rather than like a service. Like it's a responsibility, and moreover we are happy doing it. We are doing it for ourselves.
Like when you go on ground like that, not every child is welcoming. So what are the kind of challenges that you face when you rescue these children?
So this journey was, Definitely is not a cakewalk. We had a lot of challenges. Initially, when we used to go to slums, people just thrown us out. Literally. They had just told on our faces that just get lost from here. Don't you dare come. Because they didn't understand. They were like, aliens to them. So they didn't understand why are we coming, what are we doing. It took a lot of time and patience for us. If we go now, they'll welcome us with all love, they'll offer tea, coffee and all, but initially situation wasn't like that. So children were also so reluctant. They were not willing to study, they were not willing to maintain their proper health and hygiene. Even though whatever we say, they never used to listen to us. And it took a lot of time, frequent visit to build trust, have that bondage with them. So in this time we also got many threatening calls from various people, or some organizations or so. So we got but we didn't we didn't get back, we didn't step back. We just went forward. And yeah.
Yeah, like we really never cared about all this threatening and all, because we had things to do, like more important things to do. And so like initially, like our experience is like there are so many people that go on promises, but it's very hard to keep them. So that is why there is this gap of trust. So with persistence, we can overcome that. That is what happened even with us. And now when we go some place where we work, the children come running, or they sometimes they used to call for their festivals. So like, why don't you come? When you will start teaching us? All this happens.
So if there is any birthday, we'll have a flood of calls and all. They keep calling us. They'll invite us to come to the slum or any place they are staying. They wanted our presence. They want to celebrate with us.
They don't ask.
That's how it is.
Usually, they don't ask for anything. They just ask, you people should come, and it's more about that gives us more, because now everyone thinks people expect something materialistic, but it was never with us.
Because there are many NGOs and organizations who visit slums and they target the slums, and then they don't stand on those promises, and because of that there is a lack of trust. And when a new organization with good intentions come to them, they think that they are the same organization who would come, promise, and then they would not stand on them. Yeah. So what are your upcoming initiatives? What are your campaigns that you're thinking about?
So then our next future project is on education. So we have collaborated with some schools where we integrate art, theatre, music and value based education to various schools. So this will start from the next academic year. So we have also done a teacher training program. So it was called as Beyond the Classroom, where teachers should, it is completely for teachers. So where teachers should integrate art, music and fun filled education. It's not that children sitting behind the desk for hours together, getting ranks, and it's okay if they top, that's definitely okay, but then the intention is to inculcate values, fun and love, compassion. So all these things should matter in education and academics. So that's how we have conducted a workshop for teachers, and after that we are now going to start this project directly in schools with the children.
Kruti and Joy, you are coming up with this initiative called Beyond the Classroom. So what is it all about, and what are your target sections, and how do you want to bring up this initiative?
So the main idea for this, one thing is to teach teachers how to use art, music, theatre as a medium to teach, because things are changing. People get connected easily through theatre, music and art. So we want to have such kind of approach and such kind of interactions with the kid, so that he will get involved and he will use his knowledge at least for his livelihood. And this initiative will give us, to understand their mental health, to understand what's happening with them, and slowly, like, we'll be very near to children. That gives us so much of flexibility to work with them. Like, there are cases like where we get calls from children that they need something, like they want to study, or they had issues with the school, or like they are not accepting, only this happened because we are very close to them, we are very like approachable. So we want to do the same with the beyond the classroom. But education is one thing that we want to focus. The like we want to address the roots. We want to create something new, rather than repairing. We always believe like it is easy to create something new rather than repeating the old. Yeah, so that is our initiative. So we are looking forward, for people to accept us, because if we go with something new into a school, they had their own issues to deal with. It's not easy for them too. So, but we want to do that.
Also, as you both are working professionals, so how do you manage, your work life and then, working at this NGO? And also, that how is Suvidha different from all the other NGOs who are working in the same sector?
So, so as I told you, our Saturdays and Sundays are completely, invested in this, and so whenever we get free time, we involve in this work. And it's not that we don't feel like, okay, we have to do this work. It's not like, children call us up, we go, and it is all, this happens out of interest and out of love and compassion. Completely, it happens in that way. And how Suvidha is different from other NGOs, we just, if we talk about rescue, so we won't shift children from one place to another and leave there. We start, our work start from that point as well. So how a child is doing there, how is she or he pursuing their education, they have any challenges. So we won't leave children, 5 years 6 years ago, like a child we meet, so is still in contact with us now. So this relationship we won't break, and we keep visiting, talking to them, and we want to be the first point of contact if a child needs anything. So that's how we feel.
Actually, we are extending our family, Suvidha family. They are part of it. Someday they want to help some people, or like you are asking about how do you find time.
Right.
There is always LOP, loss of pay, where you can. So when we are needed, that like we go on leave and holidays, like we make sure, and there are like beautiful people who help us. Sometimes if we cannot go, there are other people. So randomly, we had a big volunteer base. So like if you post something, like they respond in seconds. So like we had a very good team. So like we are able to manage it till now, because we are not completely into the NGO, but we work full time. So with the help of other volunteers.
It was wonderful knowing about your thought process about Suvidha Rescue Team, like how you function, how you, give these children a beautiful life ahead. So, lastly, winding up this episode, I want both of you to give a strong message to all the audience watching this episode.
So, what we believe is lighting candles after the disaster won't help. We have to solve this, to bring a change in the society. Obviously, posting stuff on social media, and it might help till some extent, but that definitely is not a solution. People should come out of their comfort zones. It's not that if you ask us, did you solve problems of every child we met? No, we didn't do it. We couldn't, in few cases, in few rescues, we couldn't. We have done beyond our limits. It was a threat to us, but still we went beyond our limits and we tried, but we couldn't do it. Obviously, it won't happen. But as we have shared some beautiful stories, there are beautiful children in our lives. That is what gives us immense satisfaction. And there are always two things, self and society. So it's not that you don't have to compromise on yourself to do something to the society. We want to grow financially, we want to be independent, we want to grow physically, emotionally, spiritually. We initially want to go inside ourselves before we go ahead and do something to the society. So that self nurture should always be there, and that is the first priority, we would say that. Then second comes society. We have to do a bit to the children, because sowing seeds right in childhood, will reap the best. Children tomorrow, he or she will grow with good values. All our intention is to create good childhood for a good human being. That's all.
Well, like if you ask me a message, share your story, ask for that story. When you see someone, so they might need us, sometimes we might need them, so like just talk to them and like see, because help, like everyone want to help people, that is what, if you ask someone in our journey, so they want to do something. So just talk to them, share your story and know their story. That is what will be our message.
Thank you so much for joining in this episode. It was lovely knowing about your life journey, and we wish you all the luck so that you can come up with more initiatives and you can help as many children as possible. So thank you so much for joining in this episode.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Ayushi. Thank you so much.
So, well, viewers, today we were in conversation with Kruti and Ajay from Suvidha Rescue Team, and I hope that their life journey and how they are helping people and children around would inspire you to take a step further. With this is Ayushi Farasi signing off. Stay tuned to PMC English for more updates.